vast size of the universe, and how insignificant and accidental human life is in it. Of the universe, and how insignificant and accidental human life is in it. That seems most implausible.
And it doesn't seem to make you sad ever that we are so insignificant, ever that we are so insignificant, that we are so insignificant in the universe.
There is a fundamental difference which is based on authority, and science, which is based on observation and reason. Science will win, because it works.
Okay, so this little sick display is just one example of self-destructive, self-hating, misanthropic memes into the public. So this is the smartest guy in the world. You know, he's basically just a brain on life support. All he does is he thinks. And so anything that comes out of his mouth is to be taken as divine revelations from some type of an oracle. He's an oracle. Stephen Hawking, he's not just an embalmed animatronic doomsayer, a spokesman for the genocidal predatory elite. No, he's actually an oracle. Science. So what he's saying is defeat religion. And this to me sounds so phony because one, we know there's a huge difference between science, the methodology, and science, the belief system, which is the official state religion. And two, if you listen to what any of the words that come out of this guy's computer say, they would make you think that this guy is a hardline leftist, afraid of global warming, overpopulation, and all the fears that you would expect someone on that side of the political spectrum to have, but then some. He's actually pushing certain propaganda lines, which is fascinating because he's not someone who works in the media. So for him to be pushing some of the things that he does, it just sounds a little phony. Like, how connected is he to the daily political debate and the different rhetorical strategies used by each side? Because that's what a lot of it is. It's just rhetoric and fear-mongering. And there's no way he could be that informed on that level if he's not in the media or if he's not actively pushing a partisan agenda. And how partisan can you be when you can only type one word per minute? I just find it very phony. I'm not convinced that he's still alive, and I'm just trying to figure out how this thing works, because it's his daughter. I'm thinking here that maybe the chair is like, has someone else sitting inside of it, and that this is just like a puppet covering, and maybe that person's head actually wears Stephen Hawking as a mask. You see what I mean? So there's somebody in here whose eyes move, who's able to move the cheeks around, but it's all prosthetic, and that he's actually inside of this thing. So it's a puppet, in other words. Like a costume. A very twisted and sinister costume. And the reason they use it, of course, is because he's a human shield. You can't criticize global warming or anything that he says when he talks about it. You can't argue with him because he's disabled. And so you're being insensitive, or you're being a bully. And that's how they use victims. I'm talking about the statists. They love human shields, whether it's a human shield taking a bullet, or a human shield like these crisis actors they use so people don't question the psyops. You know, they use these victims as sacred cows. You can't question anything that they do without being considered against what they are. So sad, so pathetic. Okay, this was just last month. Stephen Hawking appeared as a hologram in Hong Kong. Listen to this.
The emission from the black hole. I am delighted to have the opportunity to use art media's hologram technology to transcend time and space to be with you today. Philosophers have largely given up on the great questions of the past in favor of science and observations, except for quantum theory, which they don't understand.
Okay, every time I wrap up this video, I find more clips of this ridiculous puppet, and they get increasingly less believable the further back I go. Listen to this, and tell me that this thing isn't a puppet. Literally a puppet.
The universe as he wants, or is God too bound by the laws of science?
The question of whether God is bound by the laws of science is a bit like the question, can God make a stone that is so heavy that he cannot lift it? I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what. God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in. All our observations suggest that it operates according to well-defined laws. These laws may have been ordained by God, but it seems that he does not intervene in the universe to break the laws, at least, not once he had set the universe going.
Now this last bit shows you how closely aligned his statements are with the NWO agenda with regards to staging a UFO invasion. So, like I said, he's a doomsayer. Listen to this.
Stated his concern, comparing invading alien civilizations and the effect on humans to Columbus landing in America and the effect on Native Americans.
So if aliens ever visit us, I think the outcome would be much as when Christopher Columbus first landed in America, which didn't turn out very well for the Native Americans.